Hey guys, I hope you're all doing very well. It's been about a month or so since I've last chatted to you, but I've had a lot on my plate. I've got a lot of different work on and different things, but I've still been following cryptocurrency. I'm still reading about cryptocurrency every single day on social media. I'm reading articles about it every week. And this is, of course, a big year. We saw Bitcoin go up above $10,000 and Bitcoin's halving this year. A lot of people are talking about this being a catalyst towards a bull run. It could be. And a bull run is obviously good. It means that more people are coming to cryptocurrency. It means that maybe more people are going to adopt cryptocurrency. They're going to start using it. We might see an increased amount of development. We might see projects which were underfunded get some money in, and they can start pushing their ideas forward, their plans forward. Because obviously it's quite difficult to fund projects when, the market's in a slump. But the downside to all that, of course, is that we will see a lot of people coming in looking to make money, and the scammers will be having a field day. And it continues to be one of the biggest problems in cryptocurrency, perhaps something that we're not talking about enough, but there's still a lot of people out there scamming people. Cryptocurrency remains the Wild West. That's the reality. It's the Wild West, and there's nothing stopping anyone from scamming other people. Now, at the moment, it doesn't seem like there's any legislation, any rules, or basically anything in place to stop people ripping others off. And I don't know what the answer to that is. I don't know. This is a difficult thing, because I know in the cryptocurrency world, a lot of people really want to keep being anonymous, and they don't want governments to step in. But then I think we're kind of fostering this environment where these scammers can thrive as well. I've had this channel for a few years, but I've been talking about cryptocurrency for about 2.5 years, I think, at this point. And I don't think I was wrong per se in the first few months I was talking about cryptocurrency. Maybe I was a little bit naive. Maybe I didn't have enough knowledge. But certainly if I had to go back, maybe I'd cringe, because I maybe talked about projects which I wouldn't talk about now. And I did obviously make some mistakes along the way. One of the biggest things decisions I made over the last year or so for this channel was to stop covering these anonymous projects. And that pissed off a lot of people. I really got a lot of anger about that. I got a lot of comments calling me every name under the sun. I think I was proven right about that, just because there was a lot of projects where I said, listen, it might be a good project, it might not, but I just don't want to cover it because, yes, Bitcoin is anonymous, but there's too many red flags. So I stopped covering anonymous projects where you didn't know who the founder was. I stopped covering projects where the funding looked very difficult, very dodgy, and where the allocation of funds at the beginning of the project looked like a pump and dump. Certainly when a lot of these people were doing pre-sales and they were trying to basically define the value of the coin before it was even released, etc. And all of these things was really, the ethos of all of this was really that I was trying to protect people as best as I can. And I do think that if you're on social media, if you're on YouTube, you do have some sort of moral responsibility to try and give good advice, be honest, have some sort of integrity. And if you to categorize people into two groups on YouTube, you've obviously got the good guys, you've got the bad guys, and some of the bad guys, obviously, they're just trying to scam you, they're trying to recommend pump and dump schemes and pyramid schemes and all these different things. But I think that, most of the YouTubers I followed anyway, Seth Estrada, etc., all these guys are trying to give good advice, try to give mining tips, they're trying to, share what they know and protect you. I don't agree with all the ones that tell you that they can read a graph and tell you what's going to happen. I'm sorry, I don't. It's witchcraft. But I do think that for the most part, most of the cryptocurrency guys, most of them, the ones that I follow anyway, are decent in that they're trying to protect you. But obviously we all have to try and, do our own research, be smart with what we do, etc. The thing is, what can we do to stop these people scamming others? What can be done? Certainly when someone is behind a project is anonymous, it makes them very easy. It makes it very easy for them to exit scam. It makes it very easy for them to just drop everything and go, screw this, I don't want to deal with this anymore, and walk away. And we saw that with exchanges, which were anonymous. We saw it with projects, which were anonymous, where, when the price of the coin started going down, they just abandoned the project and they took all the funds. Sometimes a project was had donations of Bitcoin, so they get listed in an exchange, and they just took the money and they left. You know, perhaps it started as legitimate and then they just went screw it and they took the money and ran. Others were designed as a pyramid scheme or a Ponzi scheme or a pump and dump scheme from day one. And because they're anonymous, they can just wash, rinse, repeat, and they can keep doing it. I think it is difficult to catch people like that, you know, certainly harder. It's not impossible, but I think, again, it goes back to what my decision was last year. I think the best thing to do is just not invest in projects if all these red flags are there. But obviously, people that are new to the industry, people that are new to cryptocurrency, they don't know what those flags are, which is why people in this, you know, side of YouTube, you know, anyone who's talking about YouTube, perhaps they do have a responsibility to try and protect people. One of the reasons I was talking about that I wanted to talk about this is because there is an exception to this as well. I would say that the vast majority of scammers are anonymous, but there are a few, not many, but there are a few that are actually visible. They're out there and they're doing videos and they're doing interviews, etc. A good example of this is Rhett Creighton, the scammer who is behind, you know, he was involved in Z Classic, Bitcoin Private, and then all these other schemes which he basically just pumped and dumped. He is the serial pumper and dumper, and if you see any comment about him online, 90% of them will say that he's a scammer, he's an a-hole and all this kind of stuff. And I blocked him a long time ago because I had no interest in seeing what he was doing, but you know, he kept popping up because people were liking or sharing what he had said. He's behind another project, another pump and dump, and he's still doing it. But again, going back to what I was saying there, the weird thing about him still being involved in cryptocurrency is that he is visible. He's got his picture out there, he's in videos, he did interviews, and he is still ripping people off for these pump and dump schemes. And he'll continue to do that this year. I'm sure he will. But it's the fact he's visible, and it's really, really surprising. And it's borderline idiotic because he has, at this point, he has ripped off so many people and lost so many people money with his schemes and his scams that, you know, certainly at a cryptocurrency conference, he could not go without someone wanting to hit him or hurt him or, you know, say something to him. But even outside of that, you know, he runs the risk of someone losing a lot of money and, you know, really want to go after him. So it seems quite short-sighted with his approach. The thing that's kind of bizarre to me as well is that obviously he's an intelligent little guy. You know, if he just started a legitimate project, he'd probably be richer than he is right now. But yeah, what can the government do? I'd like your thoughts on all of this, guys. You know, you've got all these scammers, you've got these pyramid schemes and all that, and a lot of these ones, they are visible and they'll try and project themselves as being legitimate. But there is resistance within the cryptocurrency world. Whenever I've discussed this in the past, a lot of the kind of feedback that I got from my subscribers, my viewers, my listeners, a lot of the feedback came from the fact that they believe that everyone should be anonymous and they don't want too much legislation, they don't want rules and all that brought into place. I'm still of the feeling that if these things aren't brought into place, then it's always going to be the Wild West as far as these guys just being allowed to rip people off. So I don't know. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this anyway, guys. I don't know what you think about all this. Do you think we need more legislation, more rules? Do people just need to be smarter and just pick the right project, you know, before investing, and then if they lose money, then tough? I don't know. But personally, I believe that the fact that these guys still exist, the fact that these guys continue to rip people off, and the fact that they'll rip off even more people in 2020 means that it's going to hurt cryptocurrency. Like, a lot of the headlines will be negative. The adoption rate will be slower because of it, and then people will be sick of cryptocurrency because they've lost thousands of dollars. So I'm of the belief that we do need something. We need something to change so that these guys cannot do what they're doing. We need something in place. But I'd like to hear what you guys think about all this. Please do leave a comment. I hope you're all doing very well, and I'll speak to you all in the next one. Take care.